Good afternoon, CFM. This is Coach Matt with our Monday workout. We're gonna do back squats today. This is the week before max out week or testing week. So we are performing a little bit of a taper into that testing week so that your bodies are fully recovered and ready to put out a really good performance for our 1 rep max work next week, all right? So let's begin with 3 minutes of your choice warm-up pace cardio, and then we'll go 2 rounds through the following sequence. 20 reps each of a linear line hop and then a lateral line hop. So I'm just jumping with 2 feet, landing with 2 feet, and springing back to that original position. So that's my linear line hops, and then we'll do lateral line hops. All right, again, trying to be springy, trying to only let the ball of the foot and the toes touch the ground, not the heel. Use the natural elasticity in the foot, ankle, Achilles, calf, right, to create the bounce off of that bottom position. Next, we're gonna do some front foot elevated split squats. If you would like to use some weight on these, you can, but have a little plate out, right, and keep your plate out because we're gonna use it later on in the workout. So starting with the leg straight and a significant distance backwards from that front foot, and then moving the hip and the knee forward and down into that bottom position with the heel still touching the plate, but the knee as far forward as possible. And one of the cues I like to use on this is if I see somebody that's doing more of a vertical version of this, I just come over and I give my hand as a target, right? So I want you to think about a target that's in front of your toe and you're trying to reach your knee to tap that target without letting your heel come up off the plate, right? And then up and back to that starting position. Next one, we'll do some heel toe rocks. So just back and forth, up on the ball of the foot, back on the heel. Make sure when you go back on the heel that you're pulling your toes up. Try to touch the inside of your shoes with your toes, right? So you're using all of those toe extensor muscles. And then 5 handstand kickups or somersaults. Your choice on this. If you want to kick up to the wall and then pop back down, that's fine. If you want to do a somersault on the ground, that's fine. Do a few of those, but get upside down, get topsy-turvy a little bit, test your balance, test your vestibular system, and then finish with 3 to 5 reps of a warm-up back squat. And we're going to go up to heavy doubles today, so you do not need to do any giant sets like 8 or 10 reps of this. Just stretch the bottom position out, stand back tall, right, and bar back in the rack. As you go through the warm-up rounds, make sure you're not doing multiple sets of lightweight at the same weight, right? So if you do the empty bar, don't do another empty bar set. Add like 10%, 20% to it. After that, add another 10%, 20% to it. But try to go progressive on all of your warm-up sets. And then kind of in between the lines there is probably at least 2 additional warm-up sets that you should do between the structured warm-up that's in Sugar WOD and the 5 reps at 75%, which is the beginning of our loaded sets, right? So we go 5, 3, 2, 2, 2 for our loaded sets with no superset today, lots of rest between the sets. And then the final set of 2 is kind of an open-ended one, right? If you got the 2 reps at 95% and you feel good at it, go for a little bit heavier, right? Somewhere between 95 and 100 is usually the 2 rep max range, right? Not that different from a 1 rep max, right? Okay, when we're finished with that, we have some intervals and accessory conditioning. So a little bit of movement, a little bit of challenge, and a little bit of static holds, right? So nothing crazy for the accessory work today, but I do want you to get your heart rate up. I want you to work hard on the bike. All right, so we're gonna start off with face pulls. So I've got the smallest band and I'm putting it around the rig at about shoulder height. Palms facing down with a shoulder width grip, and just pull the band until it's over the top of my head. And I would like for my elbows to be at 90 degrees or outside. So make sure your elbows aren't inside 90, but they are at 90 degrees, all right? That's our band face pull for 10 reps. Then I want you to go to the bike, and you don't worry about the red clock at all. Just hit the green go button on the bike and crank for 20 seconds, right? Maybe not a full out sprint, but definitely like a high level of effort. Think like 80 plus RPM would be great to get on there. Some of you guys should be in the 90s, right, for 20 seconds. Next one, again with the plate, single leg heel tap. This is another really good knee rehab or recovery exercise. Try to reach down and just barely tap your heel to the ground. Don't use this foot on the ground to push off at all. All the weight should be supported by the leg that's on the plate, right? And the heel should, again, stay flat on the plate. We're just going down and briefly tapping the heel to the ground there. Next one will be another of our challenge ones, but 10 reps per leg of a Bulgarian split squat, right? So I've got My front foot is about 2 feet away from the bench. My back foot is resting lightly on top of the bench. And my range of motion is from this trailing knee touching the ground and the front shin vertical to pushing up until my leg is straight. And I'm doing that for 10 reps on each side with a moderate weight. I got a range on there. If you're outside of those ranges, that's okay too. It's kind of just a recommended or an indication of a moderate load. The last one is another static one. This is another really knee and quad rehab exercise, Spanish squat hold. Right? So around one of my knees, around the band, and then the other foot steps through, and I'm getting all this tension on the band so it supports me, right? And then I'm just sitting down into this squatting position, right, with my torso upright, holding that squatting position. Make sure your thighs are close to parallel or about 90 degrees at the knees as you can get, okay? And that is it for today. Hope you guys have a great one. I'll see you on Tuesday.